Hi, this is Angela. Today's a cup of tea. I love the topic for today. A little more woo-woo, but it's really not. It is and it's not, because I'm going to cover some stuff, a little wider range than I typically cover in these. But we are obviously well into 2012 now. And things have been speeding up dramatically. Change is everywhere. And so we come to this question. I get this question all the time now. Well, what about this December 21st date? The Mayan calendar, all this kind of stuff. What I think is phenomenal is how suddenly in the jungles of whatever South America they came across, a continuation, and that there's another 6,000 years in the Mayan calendar or something like that. Well, first of all, when you really look at it, historically, the Mayans never said that this is the end of the world. It's the end of an age and the entrance into a new one. There's a big difference there. It's sort of like saying, okay, well, the year is over on December 31st, and that's it, and everything is over, and we're done with, and that's it. No, we transition into a new year, and it's all something fresh and new, and a change of energy. That's what we're going into. That's what we are in. And there is not one date. That's the next question I get is, well, is there like one date where the switch gets flipped or whatever? I'm like, no, because it actually started several years back, a little more than several years back, but it's really accelerated in the last year or two. And we really, really hit the brunt of it last year. Now, I talked about this a little bit last fall because there's a lot of speculation that because there are 13 months in the Mayan calendar, that when you actually compare the calendar to calendar, to our 12-month calendar, that actually the date of what they were saying was the end of the old age and the entrance of the new was like in October of last year. It's all semantics. It doesn't matter, because in the full term of history, a year is a blip. 10 years is a blip. In fact, my understanding, and what I tell people, is my understanding is that all this evolutionary period that we're going through, this huge evolution, and it's really what I'm talking about when I say this Earth 2.0 thing in all my webcasts and stuff. But we are coming through this in actually a very short time in terms of the history of the world and the history of this existence and how we have decided to play it out. And my understanding was we wanted to rip the Band-Aid off. We were like, okay, we're going to get to a point where we are so entrenched in duality and polarity and all that kind of stuff that we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off in a really short time and just be okay, we're done. We're done. We completed that lesson. We're on to the next level, the Earth 2.0. So, but what's relatively short? I'm hearing, and what I've understood is that it's, a brunt of it and the course of about 3 years. And the majority of it in about 10, which really is a blip in time. And then the rest of it, spread out a little further beyond that. So it is a little more than a day, but it still is very drastic change in a short period of time. Now, the funny thing is, energetically, there's all of this stuff that points to the fact that we're in a very big time of change and shifting. So you have the Mayan calendar. You have the Hopi prophecies, and you have a lot of that stuff that's coming to light right now too, and all the stuff that's coming together from those Hopi prophecies, including the white buffalo calves that have come back. Then we have there's the Revelation, obviously, and there's a lot of things that you can equate in the way Edgar Casey, he had sort of talked about this back in the 50s and how it sort of equates to a lot of stuff going on today. You have so many people who have predicted stuff around this time of drastic change. Astrologically, a couple years ago, we came into what we call the Aquarian age. And every time, and I think it's Neptune and Pisces or whatever, and every time we've done that, every time we've come into that, it has been a huge period of spiritual development, a huge, huge evolutionary period for us in the history of the world and our existence. And in terms of physics in physics and astronomy, we are actually coming into the photon belt this year, and I think we're actually at the edge of it now, the photon belt within our galaxy, which is something that they've studied and realized that, because we travel around the center of the galaxy we're in, just like the Earth travels around the sun and the planets travel around the sun. It's very as above, so below kind of thing in science. And so we actually travel around, our entire solar system actually travels around the galaxy, the same way we travel around our sun. But we sort of do this in these waves. And in the center, my understanding is there's something called the photon belt. And the nature of the photon belt is that anything within it becomes lighter in density and higher in vibration just by the physics of the photon belt itself. So what happens is we are physically becoming lighter and lighter in density and higher in vibration in terms of our galaxy, and so what we will do is naturally, physically be able to expand our consciousness more and expand our understanding more, and to be able to actually feel these higher exist in terms of higher vibrations, and it lasts quite a long time. Hasn't happened for, I don't know, something like 500,000 years or something like that. So lots going on, not just, in the woo-woo world, but in the physical science world too. We are changing so much, and all these things that it's so funny how our world is evolving so quickly, and all of a sudden there's, this, they discover this plastic eating fungus in I think it was South America or Africa, and it's like funny how all these things are to correct ourselves, not correct ourselves, but to sort of balance ourselves out. These all things are coming to light. Very, very interesting. However, here's the next question beyond this. And then the star being discussion is a completely different discussion, because we do have plenty of other beings throughout the galaxy that are here, and higher vibrations, and are already here, and we can communicate with them if we get to that, or once we get to that vibration. Completely different discussion for a different day. But here is the thing. We have so much. There is so much that's coming at us left and right and up and down and everywhere, every single day now, that people are coming to me and they're like, well, why does it seem though like the world is falling apart, like institutions are falling apart, governments are falling apart, societies are falling apart, belief systems are falling apart? And I'm like, because you know what? If it doesn't serve us, it is falling away. And that's what I mean, and I've said this many times in my other webcasts too, is if it doesn't serve us, it's going to fall away. And the more we fear it, or afraid of it, have anxieties about it, and resist it, the more we give energy to it, and the more we make it more drastic. So the key is the fluidity. The key is to accept change, and it's all, and I always tell people, how do you feel about change? Because however you feel about change is how this is going to affect you, and all these changes are going to affect you. If you're comfortable with change and you embrace it and are fluid to it, then you'll be fine. If you resist it and fear change, the more you fear it and resist it, the more it's going to come and search you out. And it's going to be more painful because you're going to perceive it that way. Again, it goes back to perception. And if you and I look at the same thing from two different perspectives, we might see a very different picture. So food for thought. This is and so the deal is that it's time for us to understand and to accept change and to understand the unknown, because many times why we fear change is because it's unknown. Okay, I'm miserable in this life. How many times have you heard people, I'm miserable in my marriage, I'm miserable in my home, I'm miserable in my family, I'm miserable in my job, but it's familiar, and they never do anything else because it's familiar. It's a familiar evil, and they're afraid that it's going to be even worse if they don't. What about the thought of the glass is always full, and oh, okay, if it doesn't serve me, then obviously if I let go of this, I'll be able to find what does serve me, what does serve me in the highest and best way, how I can make my heart sing, how I can be absolutely brilliantly and just ecstatically happy all the time, because that's our job, to come back to that remembrance of just living in love at all times and enjoying ourselves and each other in true unconditional love. And with that, all of our natural divine abilities start coming through so easily. But yes, it is a period of change. It is a time of great change, because we have built up so much. And my understanding is that, we had decided, okay, we're going to entrench ourselves so much into this duality and this, ego-based level of consciousness that we're going to get to a point where we're going to be done with that lesson, and we just need to sort of rip off the Band-Aid. And that's really what we're doing right now. So it's just change. And if we embrace change and allow it to flow and stay fluid to it, regardless of, let the ego go, put blinders on the ego and just give the ego love and say, you know what, this is for our higher good, this is for our highest and best. So in keep that in mind as things change around you, in your personal life as well as in your community, in the country, in the world, in our universe. It's just, and you know what, adopt that remembrance of childlike wonderment and moment to moment of the awe and beauty of everything. And even when something looks ugly and is falling away, the beauty of what's underneath it. It's sort of like the shell falling away and the butterfly expanding out. So on that, we're going to do our clearing for today. And so, would you like all of the following without trauma, drama, or illness, without creating or recreating a negative situation for illustration or experience, and all with ease, grace, balance, harmony, joy, fun, excitement, adventure, love, humor, and bliss? Would you like it for all versions of you, all times, all places, and to the ever-expanding universe, to infinity and beyond? Would you like to receive all information requested in this download via instantaneous and comprehensive download with fully conscious understanding in the moment, version, and timeline from which it is requested? Would you like to also, for all of Creator's truths and understandings, perceptions, perspectives, discernments, definitions that come through for this clearing and healing, would you like to have Creator's version replace your own and become your own for divine alignment? And would you like to offer all of this clearing and healing to all the higher selves of all ancestors and descendants, their version, if they so choose to accept? On that, would you like to dissolve, resolve, release, and clear all etheric binding agreements that require you to fear change, that require you to fear the unknown, and that require you to avoid the unknown and to avoid change because you fear it? Would you like to get understanding from Creator as to how it served you to have this and why it was in place to have these agreements? How to serve you to be without them? To bring forward all situations, all experiences, all lifetimes, that because of this agreement or these understandings, that you were afraid of change, that you felt like change was bad, that it was hurtful, that it was painful, that it was scary, or the unknown, change or the unknown, bad, scary, hurtful, or just bad for you, or not as good as if you stayed the same. And to get Creator's truth and the perception versus the truth of those situations and what the purpose of the lessons from those were. And if you have any unfinished lessons, to complete them, resolve, dissolve, release, and clear those. Write them off as complete in the Akashic Records. Now, let's also, would you like to thank all parties involved, open the doors to apology and forgiveness, download the feelings, knowledge, and understanding of apology and forgiveness to and from all parties involved? And then, would you like to remove all beliefs that have come from all these situations and all of the agreements, including change is bad, change is scary, the unknown is scary, the unknown is bad, the unknown will hurt me, change will hurt me, it will be worse if things change, it will be it will be worse if I delve into the unknown. And to pull all those beliefs, pull all underlying fears, anxieties, regrets, rejections, resentments, anger, guilt, and doubt. Pull the memory and energy of that from the cellular level. Pull related self-limiting thoughts, words, and actions from the cellular level. Transform them to Creator's light, send them back to Creator, and close those receptors. Open new ones and saturate the cells and in between the cells with the highest vibration of Creator's unconditional love. And download the beliefs. Change is good if what is here does not serve me in the highest and best way. Change is the only constant. I know how to live in constant change. I know how to accept and embrace constant change. I am interested in learning about the unknown. I embrace the unknown. I am without fear of the unknown. I know the feelings of moving forward this way. I know the feelings of moving forward, embracing change, and knowing how to continue on as the calm in the storm. I know how to continue on with peace during times of great change without a solid ground under my feet. I know how that feels. I know how to do that with peace and serenity, and not only that, but embracing it and having fun and love and excitement and grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy through all of that. I know how that feels. I know how to do it completely without trauma, drama, and illness. I know how that feels. And then get all the feelings of that, and to download all the feelings of that you're worthy, deserving, and able to, that it's possible, allowed, okay, and safe to, that you're ready, willing, and able to, and that you have that in your life right now. And then would you like to heal, resolve, and clear the timelines in all directions to infinity with the violet and platinum flames, and write off as completed in the Akashic Records? If you would, take a deep breath, clear your mind, be open to receive, and say yes, change. And that's it. Have a wonderful one. We'll talk to you next week. This is Angela with today's Cup of Tea.